Yo, what's good? How you doing? Car's warming up. Um, but I wanted to make a statement, or a clarification, that is, about something I said earlier. I said that, quote, I learned, to be honest, I learned more about business through the military versus in college. And I said that's my personal opinion. The reason why I said that was because that was my life experience. That's not everybody. That is not for everybody. I don't want people to come here and say, "Oh, so what you thinking? The military is better than college? Oh, military this, that, and third." No, I don't want people to come around and say, I think college is great. I think education, higher education is good. But there were certain moves that I learned in the military for me that changed my perception on what I wanted to do. Like me, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't ever, my dad, even though my dad, whatever, I never see my dad work. I mean, he tried to work for other people, but it never lasted long. He always wanted to be self-made, and I see my mom work and she was always angry. My dad, even though he was pissed off sometimes, he was more chill. My mom, she worked a 9 to 5 and she was always pissed. And I was like, I can't do that shit. Like, fuck that. I just couldn't. I didn't like the energy that was coming from it. And I always wanted to do whatever the fuck I wanted because on top of that, I was a kid, growing up in Brooklyn and stuff like that. My parents, they saw the dangers and everything. So due to that fact, they didn't want me going out like that. So I was really sheltered. I really wasn't able to do what the fuck I wanted. So with that energy in me, I was always rebellious. Always. Always. You can talk to anybody. I always tried to do my own thing. Even in the midst of any problem, I always found a way to do what made me happy. And that's what kind of drove me into the military because that was my only opportunity at the time. When I had joined the military, it was in 2008, 2009. A lot of people, I don't know if you remember, but during that time it was a recession. Nobody was hiring no one. The only people who was really hiring like that, an 18-year-old, was a multi-level marketing motherfuckers or the military. So at that time, I took that opportunity. That was the only one that I saw at the time. Plus, when I was in college, the first time I went to college, I really wasn't focused on that because I really wanted to fucking party and holla at bitches. So I really wasn't focused on getting shit done, going to class. I was really pissed off. I wasn't happy. I ended up going to community college, which there's nothing wrong with a community college. But that was my route, and I was pissed the fuck off. So I ended up going to the military, which, to be honest, it really shaped a lot of things that I needed. It made me a little bit more mature, made me see one of the big things of benefits for me with the military that I saw was trying to see the bigger picture. That was one of the things. When you go out, you always covered your man. You always took care of your people. Even when I was in the chain of command, I seen the officers, they did the same thing. So even though, people had issues, that's what I was brought up around, So when I got out, I realized that's really the biggest thing about business. You got to be able to take care of your people, being, care. You got to give a fuck. You just got to give a fuck. And, talking to people, even, but that shit really does help morale. That helps the overall prowess. Now in college, I learned more of the technical shit, the books and stuff like that. But there was things that it was just, there was just things. It was all like pretty much textbook. Like you did a couple of projects on how a business, but it wasn't like day-to-day shit. You wasn't out in the field. That's where probably I would say an internship and stuff would come around. I mean, it helps you because I think the only thing that I think college benefits is you're around people in your field or around people that kind of thought like you and you made your own cliques. And I felt college was really good with that. But the Marine Corps, for me, that's what branch I was in. The military, it taught me how to deal with everybody. Deal with black folk, deal with white folk, deal with Asian folk, deal with Latinos, all of them. And then you had to put them together because you couldn't talk the way you perceive or the way you move around white folks, not the same way you move around black folk. You had to know how to not even adapt, but you had to know how to present yourself in a way that I wouldn't say is not threatening. That's not the word I'm looking for. But it made you have to learn how to pretty much be cool with everybody, but still be yourself, but still be able to get what you needed and still carry respect. And that was the one thing. You was able to carry your uniqueness around you because you didn't really have much because everybody looked the same pretty much. You all had uniforms on. You all had your chevrons and shit. So everybody was pretty much the same. So your distinctness, your uniqueness was something you carried around you. You know what I mean? In the privacy of yourself. You couldn't really do that with anything else, but that was something that you had to carry around. And yeah, you know, I learned a lot about that through business. You know, there was some bad habits I also learned in the military too, but I'll address that another day. But yeah, the mentorship. I had so many different forms of leaders or so many different forms of ways of doing things that you took a little bit from here, you took a little bit from here. You know, some of the leaders I remember, you know, my guy Gaines, Goran Flow. I remember Goran Flow, Gaines. Gaines was more, he was a good dude. He was just laid back. He was always chill. Goran Flow was more like, he was very like, everything had to be in a specific spot. He was like really like, and he was always working. Goran Flow never stopped working. Like, that's one thing I remember about Goran Flow. Goran Flow never stopped fucking working. He would just sit there and he would just work. Like, he always was thinking of a problem that could occur before it would occur. Like, he was always proactive. He always was looking at it, and then he, you know, but me and him, we kind of bumped heads because he was just doing all the work, and to the point where I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna do all the work, then. But we were able to mesh it, and he was able to talk to me and be able to really throw the knowledge down. And once that happened, it was like smoother than butterscotch because he learned how I move too. And I think that's the other thing. You have to teach people really how to treat you as well. But yeah, so for me, Farley Toussaint, I learned more about business through the military. Now, some people, they're probably going to say college, and that's fine. And I think that's the thing. That's what makes people unique, especially in business. You need to have your uniqueness. You need to be able to stand out because that's what attracts people to you. If everyone looks the same, if everyone acts the same, then why do it? Go to get a job and shit like that. Entrepreneurship, you need to bring something different to the table. People need to see that you're different. People need to see that you're different. Just straight up, exactly like that. Because your difference is your story. And that's what brings a lot to a client, to a customer, everything. I really learned about hospitality and treating people with respect. Because the military, you didn't know who the fuck you were talking about. If you were in civilian clothes, you could be talking to an officer. He might look like a Poindexter and shit like that, but he could get you in trouble. So you had to treat everybody with respect. And I implemented that same tactic. I treated everyone with respect because I didn't know who I was talking to. And when you come out in the real world and you talk to everybody like, yo, that they're 100% from the homeless guy to the richest guy, and you treat them with respect, with dignity, people will appreciate that. And people watch and see, and they notice that, yo, this guy, he's a real dude. He's a real deal. He's a good dude. He's square. He's doing the right thing. He got a good head on his shoulders. He actually gives a fuck. You know, And I noticed that when I came back to New York, everybody said New Yorkers are the most rudest people. New Yorkers is this and you know, I get good mornings every day. I live in New York. I live in Brooklyn. I go to the hood. Good morning, brother. How you doing today? You know what they say? Good morning, brother. How you doing today? Because I don't play that. I want my respect. So I'm going to give you your respect because I need my respect back. So that's how I get treated in the seas. But other people going like, man, New Yorkers ain't shit. New Yorkers are the worst place. That's not true. You want to get treated. You already want to get treated like that. I don't want to get treated like that. So I show people respect. And that's the number one thing. You show people respect. Another thing I learned in the military that was really good, that really helped me, was getting to know everybody getting to know everybody in your building area, your area. What I did when I got into the shared space, first day, I got up out my little office and I introduced myself to every motherfucker in that floor. Every motherfucker. There was like over 100, 200. I introduced myself to everyone because you don't know who can or cannot help you, but it's better to know who they are. And that's how you get around, you know. And I learned that was so bad. I didn't even realize it's subconscious in me now. So when I go into anywhere, I naturally want to introduce myself. It wasn't always like that. Before, I didn't want to introduce myself all the time. But that's not something, you know, because a lot of people say, yo, Farley, you an extrovert. No. I am. Yes, but that's not something I naturally want to do. The Marine Corps put that in you because you had to talk. Well, my job, I had to talk to officers. I had to talk to higher ups all the time. So I couldn't be a pussy. So they made, the first time they made you come in when you was a rookie, whatever, they made you introduce yourself to everybody. It's like, hey, you're going around, you're going to introduce yourself to everybody. You go to every shop, you're going to introduce yourself to everybody. That, and they didn't want you there. But I had to learn that. So that's why I said that. But I got to go. My car is warmed up to the max. But I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope, you know, you share your stories of what got you into business or entrepreneurship or whatever, what got you into your job. There's some good jobs out there. You know, listen, ain't nothing wrong with a job. I hope everybody understands that. There's nothing wrong with a job. There's nothing wrong with whatever you do to pay your bills, to get your kids up, to do what you got to do. Not everybody's made to do everything. You got to go for what you want and what you're made for. But lovely talking to you. I've been talking for 12 minutes. I'm done.